Hello everyone. So today we will be performing the fourth assignment, that is find a procedure to transfer the files from one virtual machine to another virtual machine. So as we are going to do this particular assignment on a particular laptop or a PC or any other device which you are using, so you need to have a type 2 hypervisor. So you can Google out what are hypervisors and what are type 2 hypervisors. So in market there are many hypervisors like VirtualBox or VMware. So as VirtualBox is quite user friendly, so we'll be using VirtualBox. So that is the first requirement. And the another requirement is VDK image of Ubuntu or any Linux version. So we'll be hosting that particular two VMs on VirtualBox by using that particular image, and we will be copying a file from a particular VM to another particular VM by using SCP. What SCP is? It is secure copy protocol. So first of all, let us what are the installation requirement, let me tell you that first. So moving here, so first of all, you need to download VirtualBox. So I'll be pasting this links here. So when you just type in VirtualBox here in Chrome, you'll be directed to this site here, and you can go to the download section. And in the download section, whichever platform you are using, may it be Windows, Linux, or Mac OS, so you can download the that particular this virtual box for that particular OS. So as I have already downloaded, I won't download it. You just download it from here. Second is a particular VDK image. What VDK image is? It is a virtual, actually it is a box image, or you can say that it is an image of an operating system. So why we are using it? Because you will get a particular that particular box to directly use it. You don't need to configure it or anything. You can just run that particular file in VirtualBox, and you will be ready to use that particular operating system which is installed in that particular box. So there are many. You can use CentOS, RHEL 7, Ubuntu, or any of the distros of Linux, right? So I have uploaded a file here, that is Ubuntu 1804 VDK images here. I'll be uh, I'll giving this link in the description of this video, and also either you can download it from here or either you can download it from here also. Here you can see that it is VMware desktop hosted by Vagrant, so you can download this image from here also, or the VirtualBox image from here also. It depends which particular hypervisor you are using. If you are using VMware, download it from here, or if you are using VirtualBox, download it from here. Okay, so that is about the installations which we are going to need. So let us proceed with the installation now. So yeah, so when you double click on the VirtualBox, it will ask you for the steps. As I have already installed VirtualBox, so it is asking me that if you have to repair it or remove it. So what I'll do is I'll repair it, and just what it'll do is it will check about if any component is missing or what. But if you're doing the installation of VirtualBox for the first time, it will ask you to install, and the second step will be that where you want to install it. You can give the path wherever you want to install it, and after that, which particular components or wherever VirtualBox needs to make entry in the registry. So you need to check all the options. No option should be unchecked. After that, the VirtualBox will get installed, and there are no further steps. There are just three steps for installation. So what you need to do is you need to restart the system after installation. So I have already installed it, and all the changes which a particular VirtualBox manager needs to make after restart, that are already made. Okay, so this is a particular image I have downloaded, and this is the VirtualBox manager. So I already have three machines here. If you have you are doing a fresh installation, you won't be having any of the machines here. Okay, so after that, what we are going to do is, as uh, as the situation is, suppose I am sitting at my home now. So what my home network is, so first of all, there is a router which is provided by a ISP here, and there are many devices in my house here. Suppose these are 3 devices, 4 devices. So as this particular router is is getting the IP from an ISP, internet service provider. So if this particular IP is assigned to this router, this particular router is making a local area network at my home. So it is forming a LAN network at my home here, local network, which is providing IPs to these machines. Suppose we say that this particular router has got an IP of 192.168.72.2/24. So as it says that it is /24, that is the subnet mask. It means that this particular is the network ID, and this will be the host ID. So suppose we say that this particular machine is getting 192.168.168.72.4, and so on. Like it will, this particular machine will get .5, this machine will get .6, and so on. So this is about these machines. So this is my particular network configuration. So what we need to do is, as we are going to host machines inside our laptop or any of the PC or any particular device you are using, so what you need to do or take care is, so if this is your laptop, see this is your PC suppose, and this is going to host virtual machines inside it. So you need to get that particular virtual machine or that two machines in a state that they can talk to each other. Okay, so if this PC is hosting virtual machines, so that particular virtual machine should be in state if these two are the virtual machines hosted on this particular PC by a type 2 hypervisor. So these two machines should be in a state that these two can talk to each other. Okay, so what we will do is we'll form a particular NAT network inside VirtualBox. What NAT network is, if this PC is connected to this particular router. Okay, now this PC is hosting type 2 hypervisor, that is VirtualBox. Inside VirtualBox there is a particular NAT engine. That NAT engine, what NAT engine does is, if we are forming a NAT network inside VirtualBox, if this is a NAT engine, this is VirtualBox suppose, and this is a NAT engine. So if how many, may there be a number of VMs inside my particular PC. So if I am hosting n number of VMs, this particular NAT network, what it will do is, it will allow all the VMs to get some IP in this particular network. So what will happen is, if I am making a network, this network, all these VMs will be connected to this particular VM will be connected to this will be also connected to this, and all the whatever the traffic will be there, so it will be shared across all the VMs, so they can talk to each other. So that is what we want. So what we have to make is, first of all we have to make a NAT network so that these particular two VMs can talk to each other. Okay, so this was theory about how we are going to do the networking in this particular VMs. Okay, so now as we have the image here, Ubuntu 18.04, what we will do is we have to click on new. After that you can give name to these VMs, any name you can give, that this is suppose VM1, and wherever you want to store it, suppose I am storing it somewhere else, I'll store it in the virtual machines here. Suppose I'll make a new folder here, that is VM1. Okay, I'll select this folder. Okay, this is this. You can choose the type, which type it is and which version it is. So as we are doing it for Ubuntu 64-bit, so you need to choose that. After that, next you can give the memory size, the RAM that to be allotted when the particular virtual machine is running. Okay, so we'll give 1 GB, that is 1024 MB. Okay, hard disk. Now as we have downloaded this particular image, so what it is, it is a VMDK. So what VMDK is, virtual machine disk. So this particular disk already has Ubuntu installed in that. It already has a Ubuntu installation. So if you are installing Ubuntu for the first time, if ever you have installed Ubuntu, you need to make configurations, or you may need to give the spaces to all the disks which are there inside Ubuntu. So if you are using this particular Ubuntu or this particular image, so you need not to do that particular thing. So what you can do is use an virtual hard disk. If you are doing it for the first time, this option will be not available. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to press on this icon. After that, what you will do is you will add a file. So you need to locate that where that particular file is. So as it was on desktop and installation, what I'll do is I'll choose that image and open it here. Okay, so as I already have this particular VMDK, so what we will do is we'll use it and we'll choose it. Okay, it will help us create this VM. One more time, the same time you need to do the same task. Okay, as I have already made this, like there are two VMs, this one and this one. I've already made this particular VMs by the same process, so I'll not be repeating that process. You, if you are making it the first time, as I have imported in the VM1, you need to again repeat this process. Click on new. You need to give the folder name where you need to store that particular machine, what type it should be, which version it should be, next, and choose that image and then create. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll remove this machine. Okay, delete all files. So okay, so as you saw that here, this particular disk image was here and I said delete all files, it removed that particular file also, so no issues. So what we will do is, now the second thing is we need to form network. Okay, so as we want to form a NAT network, we must have a NAT network first. So what we'll do is you need to create that. So for that, what we'll do is go on file and preferences. Inside preferences, under the network section, there are NAT networks here. Okay, I have already made one here. What we will do is, if you are making it the first time, this will be empty. So what you need to do is you need to click on this plus symbol, and the particular NAT network will be here. If you want to edit the name, you can right click and edit NAT network here, and you can, what you can do is you can give the name and which particular CIDR should be there. So what CIDR is, so suppose if I open my command line and I type in ipconfig. So what CIDR block is, it tells that particular. Now what this CIDR block what CIDR does is, it will form a network inside the VirtualBox. So what VirtualBox NAT engine does is, it assigns a dynamic IPs to all the VMs which will start at the boot time. At the boot time, a particular VM asks the NAT engine to assign that particular VM a IP. Okay, as we say that supports DHCP, it needs to dynamically provide an IP to a VM which is going to boot using this particular NAT network. So as we you can see here that this particular my connection here, so here you can see that my IPv4 address is this 192.168.56.1, which means as I am inside is this is my router, and I have the IP. I have this IP 192.168.56.1. This means that the first one is my particular machine, and another machines which are all connected to this particular router will be getting another IP. So similarly, when the particular virtual machines are going to start inside the VirtualBox, all will be getting a particular. Suppose here we are saying that network CIDR is 10.0.2.0. Okay, and after that /24. So as everyone knows that this particular is the IP, and /24, what /24 tells is that these three blocks will be for the network and this particular last block will be for the host. This means that all the virtual machines inside the VirtualBox which are going to boot in with the NAT network will be having the network the particular IP from 10.0.2. 1 to 10.0.2.255. This means the CIDR, that particular CIDR block. So you can host 254 virtual machines inside VirtualBox, which will be getting that particular this the IPs if you are doing that inside a NAT network, preferably. Okay, so as I've made already, I'll not make it. I'll remove this NAT network. Okay, remove. And what we'll do is we'll edit this. So here you can see that the particular NAT network has an CIDR block of 172.168.2.0/24. What it means, the particular virtual machines which are going to get hosted inside a virtual box, and which will ask the NAT engine of VirtualBox to provide them a IP at the boot time. What IPs they will get? They will get the IP in the range of 172.168.2.1 to 172.168.2.255. Okay, so that was all about this NAT network. So this is my VMbox network. I have named it. You can name it whatever you want, and click OK. Okay, and after that, whenever you are making a particular new VM, by default that particular virtual machines take NAT as a NAT. It does not select the particular the what can I say, the adapter as NAT. So what they select is it selects NAT by default. What you have to do is you have to go to this, click on that VM which you have just made, go to the settings. After that, go to network tab and change the particular attached to NAT network. Okay, and after that you can choose whichever particular network you have made to my VMbox network, as it was mine, and you need not to make any changes here. Okay, keep it as it is, as it is default, and click OK. For the second VM also, what you need to do is go to the settings, network, and change it to NAT. Okay, and OK. So what we'll do is we'll boot this VM now. Let this machines boot now. Okay, make sure kernel. Okay, let us see. Let us spin this file first. Okay, due to I guess re-installation of a VirtualBox, I need to reboot this. So let me reboot and we'll connect again. Okay, we are back with after the reboot. So what we were going to do is we were going to boot this VM. Okay, so let us boot this VM. Ubuntu 18.04 default. So okay, it will require some time. Okay, if you are booting this VM and it asks you for login, so by default the username and password is Vagrant and Vagrant. Okay, by default. So this particular one VM has booted, and now I'll boot the second VM. Now before that, let me show you that I'll do it. I have config. So here you can see that what the particular INET address is. It is 172.168.2.4. And why it is so? Because it is inside a NAT network, and which is having a CIDR of 170.168.2. So after .2, all the VMs which will boot will have dot something in the range of .1 to .255. Okay, so that is, I'll boot this VM also. Let it boot. Okay, it will also boot in a minute. Just it will require some time to boot. I'll resize the windows till that time. Okay, let it boot. If I'm typing here ifconfig, it will show me the particular init which we saw here. If there is this, if this command is not working, it will tell you that ifconfig not found. So it will show that what you need to do is you need to install it. Okay, what you will do is sudo apt install net tools. So it will download that particular net tools. What net tools is having, it is having that ifconfig command. Okay, so it will download that package and you will be having ifconfig inside it. So I think this particular VM will require some time to boot in. So what we are going to use is, we are going to use SCP, as I told you, secure copy protocol. So how it is used, so I'll show you an article. It is very nice article by Linux says. So here you can see that how to use SCP command to securely transfer file. So what problem statement was that we need to find a procedure that can transfer a particular file from one virtual machine to another virtual machine. So what we'll do is we'll be using SCP, secure copy protocol. So what SCP does is SCP connects to a particular virtual machine. It is a connection from a virtual machine to another virtual machine. What this particular SCP does is, this command, it has options for connection or authenticating itself, and at the last also which particular file you need to transfer, and all the options are here given, and to which user at which address. So this is like at which address what you need to transfer it, and after that this colon you need to mention that in, if that particular VM is allowing you to bring that files from one address to another address, where you need to dump it. So you need to mention that too. If you are not mentioning it, it will by default dump it at the home address only of that particular user. In our case, so let us see that, okay, the particular VM has booted here. What I'll do is I'll log in here, vagrant, and I'll bring the another window here. Okay, so both the windows are here. What I'll do is I'll type in ifconfig here. So here you can see that what the particular IP address is. It is 172.168.2.5 and its IP is 172.168.2.4. Now if I ping it, if I ping this particular virtual machine from this, it should respond, right? So we know its IP is 172. So 172.168.2.5. Okay. Oh, sorry, I did not type it. 172.168.2.5. Okay, so here you can see that my particular pinging, it is pinging. It means that this particular machine is responding to this machine. Okay, I'll stop here. Now what I'll do is, first of all, we need to know some of the commands. SCP is one of them, obviously. Now first one is ls. What ls will do is it will list all the files and directories. It is specifically for Linux based operating system. So as we are using Linux, I am mentioning these commands here. Ls will list all the file systems. What cat command will do is it will show the content inside a particular file, inside a file. Okay, what scp do is it will help us to copy files from one VM to other. Okay, so this is that scp, and there is another command cd, that is change directory. If you need to change the directory, you can change, or you need to traverse through the directories, you can traverse through the directories also. That is change directory. And another one is make directory. Okay, so if you want to make a new directory, you can make a new directory using this command, new directory. Another command is touch. So what touch is touch it makes a new file with a file name which you will provide that touch command. Okay, that is that about. And what we'll do is we'll use nano. What nano is? Nano is a editor inside Linux OSs. So any OS will be having nano inside it. So what you can do is you can edit that particular file in nano. So these are the commands which are important to get going here. So what we'll do is I'll do ls here. So here you can see that one file is there. So we will make another file. So what file we'll make? Let's say that it is test, or say let's say it is transfer.txt. So I made a file. Now if I do ls again, here you can see that two files are there, switch.txt and transfer.txt. Now I need to write, as the file is newly made, I need to write something inside it, so we can check it that okay, is that file here in this VM. Okay, so as I do ls here, this particular VM is also containing switch.txt already. It does not have another file, that is transfer.txt, which I have made here. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll write something inside transfer.txt. Hey, hey, how are you? Suppose. After that, you will press Ctrl X, Y, and enter. So you have saved that particular file. So here you can see that there are these two files. If you need to see the content inside that particular transfer file, what you will do is you will concatenate it. As we saw that cat allows you to see the content inside a file. I'll cat it here. What it will show you that whatever content inside that, as we wrote hey how are you, it will show that particular cat command will show it to you. Okay, so now as the scp command, now what we need to do is we need to transfer this transfer.txt from this particular machine to this particular machine. So here you can see that this is my pointer, this particular VM1 to this particular VM2. So scp, what it scp consists of many options in between. If you are connecting to a particular virtual machine which is using a .pem file or .ppk file, you need to mention that .pem or .ppk file here for authentication, as this particular two VMs are running and they have the passwords, username and password. So whenever you are doing scp, so this particular, after performing the scp command, that scp command, when it connects to this particular another VM, it will ask you for the password. So you need to enter the password, as we know that the username is also vagrant and the password is also vagrant. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll scp. What we need to transfer is transfer.txt. Where we need to transfer is, as you can see that, to which user. So you need user's name. Okay, so all the users in a Linux file system are listed in the home directory. As we know, all are inside the home directory. So if I do ls/home, here you can see that there is a vagrant user name, a user with a name vagrant. Okay, so what I'll do is we'll type in here vagrant @ what was the IP of this machine. If anyone remembers, I don't remember, so I'll do an ifconfig here @172.168.2.5. Okay, now I know that this particular user is present at this location. Now as I can see that, I'll ls/home/vagrant. So here you can see that switch.txt is already present. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to transfer this transfer.txt also at this same location. And at which location it is here? It is at /home/vagrant. So I need to add it here, /home/vagrant. Okay, now I'll enter this. What it is asking me for? It is asking me for the password. Okay, what the password is? Vagrant. So here you can see that the particular transfer.txt is 100% transferred. So as I did a list all these files under this particular directory, as it was having only suresh.txt. If I run this command again, now it will be having transfer.txt also, because what we have did is we have transferred this particular transfer.txt from this VM to this VM. Okay, so you need to check that transfer.txt is the same one. So what we'll do is we'll cat it here, transfer.txt. So here you can see that, and we'll cat the file here also, transfer.txt. So here you can see that, hey, how are you, and all the content is same. So this is how you can copy the files from one virtual machine to another virtual machine. And this can be done by another adapters also, which are mentioned here. So you need to find out that which adapters are possibly workable for this particular VM. As we did with the NAT network, you can do it with a bridge adapter, but if you are having an ISP, you won't be able to do it with the bridge adapter. So you can do it with a NAT network or an internal network or a host only adapter. Okay, so Google about these adapters, and that is all about these assignment. And yeah, uh, thank you.